let me give you a brief introduction. 7digital is a streaming music business which believes it has found the sweet spot in the digital world. Its ambition is to become the global leader in B2B end-to-end digital music solutions. Paul Langworthy has been CEO for just over a year, and he joins us to present the strategy, which post-pandemic now includes home fitness, artist monetization, and social media. 7dig have just raised £6 million to pursue that strategy. And here we are, the one and only Paul Langworthy to talk us through it all.
Good evening. Mike, I think you're going to put the presentation up for me. Thank you very much indeed. So yeah, this evening, I really just want to talk through a little bit about the journey we've been on, but the journey we're about to go on and are going on and embarking on, because that's what I think is really exciting, and I hope will excite you. So just moving through a couple of slides to what our mission is and why we're here. Our raison d'etre is really about enabling growth and innovation in the music industry. And we talk about enabling growth and innovation because we're not excited about the 300 million people that pay £9.99 or $9.99 for a subscription service with Spotify or Apple or Amazon. That's not what we're interested in. That's not the market we're playing in. There's going to be super growth in that area. That's great. What we're really interested in is serving the new emerging opportunities in the music space. And there are many, and there are plenty. And there are 3.5 billion people listening to music in one way, shape or form for free every week. And that is the opportunity for this business, enabling new business models, emerging models for enterprises, yes, but also for startup and innovative companies as well. And we're doing that with our leading global music platform. And it is a global music leading platform. If we just go to the next slide, I can elaborate why. So to be able to fulfill our mission, you have to have a global catalog and a global platform in music. It is an absolute must-have. We have over 80 million tracks in our database, a lot of high resolution audio as well. We're ingesting some 1 million plus tracks per month. I think a couple of weeks ago, we did 500,000 new tracks in 1 week. So an enormous amount of content getting generated around the globe. And we're ingesting all of that. We get that from all of the record labels, majors, indies. So any new release that is published, we will have in our platform. And we're getting that from some 300,000 different labels and so on across the planet. So a truly global catalog of music within our platform. And our platform itself is a truly global platform. We have an SLA of 99.95%, but actually we had the last quarter and a half were 100% uptime guaranteed, which even Spotify I don't think has. We've got some 45 customers, 82 different countries we're serving content to through our customer base. So a truly global catalog using Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud Services as our application architecture. Moving on, Mike. I think I want to give you a little bit about the context of the industry before we go into our journey. If you just think about as little as 5 years ago within the music industry, you'd have found a fairly even sort of distribution split of revenue across music download sales. Streaming was obviously becoming prevalent. Live, it was a really sort of even mix of revenue split across the business. And in a short period of time, streaming has now completely overtaken downloads. It's killed the download music revenue within the industry. It's downloads, I think, is falling off a cliff more quickly than even CDs were. So it's changed very dramatically. However, very recently, COVID has absolutely changed everything. COVID hit in the UK where we're based. It hit in March, but it hit the globe around the same time, and we've seen an enormous shift in difference in human behavior and how music has impacted human behavior or supplemented human behavior in relation to COVID. So what we've seen is the live performance market has literally died on its knees. No one's going touring, no artists are performing, which is such a vital revenue stream for them. And no one on this call should have been to a gig at least since March, and if you have, you're breaking the law. But that part of the industry is on its knees. Social media platforms and the use of music within social media has grown enormously. And you're finding now artists are using social media as a really important engagement tool with their fan base. And it's actually outgrown streaming services. I don't know about you, but I at the beginning of this COVID world that we're now living in, the strange world we're living in, was thinking that when it started to bite, that actually we'd see an enormous uptick in streaming. But actually, no. If you think about where most people listen to music, it's in the car or on the train or on the tube on the way to work. So actually, we didn't see this enormous uplift of streaming usage in established subscription streaming services, but social media absolutely did. It was a huge amount of growth. And in this post-pandemic, as I like to use that term, fairly apocalyptic term for it, but in this post-pandemic world, we stopped fairly quickly and realized that this is going to have a huge impact to our business. But actually from this, there's a huge amount of opportunity for us to really tap into and help enable people use music within these different areas of behavior change and where music has become more prominent. So moving on. I think our financials were released today, as you may well have seen, and I do just want to touch a little bit around the past. I'm very much, as a chief executive in Post for the past sort of 12 months, I'm very much focused on the future and taking the business forward, and that's really been what I've come into the business to do, is to really help transform its fortunes and kick us on. But we do need to understand a little bit about where we've come from. And we've spent the last year really focusing on creating a super lean, laser focused business. Our costs were way too high. We lost some big revenue at the beginning of 2019. And we had issued announcements to the market around insolvency at the time, and the share price crashed. Everyone's followed the story, right? So I'm sure I don't need to repeat it. So what we've really done is focused on transforming the way that we operate this business, and that's been largely focusing on costs. We've taken a lot of staff costs out. We've reduced overall costs by around 60%, I think, run rate versus 2018 end of. We've moved office, and in the process saved some £600,000 per annum. I know some of you on this call have attended our previous office, which used to get a few raised eyebrows, given it was in a rather expensive part of Moorgate. So we've moved up to Camden, saved a load of money. We've got rid of a load of old technology that used to serve some legacy radio clients. Yeah, there was revenue, but actually when you're managing legacy technology, it's expensive. You need domain knowledge. You have a larger tech estate. We've cleared all of that out and really focused on what we want to do in terms of taking the business forward. We've got new finance systems in place, way more financial management rigor and governance in place within the business versus where we were a year ago. And we simplified the structure of the organization after various different M&A transactions that we've had. It was far too cluttered, too busy. We've really stripped that back. So a big transformation of the underlying operations. And then moving on, Mike, now, it then became about positioning our business for the future and how we're going to take things forward. And the single biggest shift that we have made that has enabled us to take so much cost out is moving from what's really a bit of a bespoke development house to a much more productized outfit, selling the same technology over and over again. And anyone that knows technology, if you're building specifically to customer requirements, yes, the revenue can look nice, the number can look nice, but actually it always takes longer to build. It always costs a little bit more than you thought. The scope will always creep. It's more technology to support. It's more people required to manage that on an ongoing basis. We've really moved away from that and are really focused in on making sure our platform is highly productized and can support the most broad set of use cases and business models that exist within the music space. And that's been a huge, big shift for us. As I've already said, we're using cloud technology, Amazon Web Services and Google. We think we have the global leading platform compared to our competitors that we have had a look at. We've grown our client base over the last 12 months. In spite of the difficult position the company has been in the past, we're getting better at marketing strategies for the company. We've got a new commercial team within the business, and we've got much more professionalism and rigor around our pitching process. Our documentation looks way more polished, and that's really yielding results. And in terms of marketing, I think what you're going to see is that as our story develops and we get a little bit more of a spring in our step and start to deliver some of the success that we're seeing now, you're going to see us, talk much more proudly about where we're going and the journey we're on. And we're looking forward to communicating much more aggressively through the B2B marketing channels that we're working through to get our story out there and be proud of what it is we're doing and make a name for ourselves. We will continue to sign what I call traditional B2B music services deals. We've signed Jazz and expanding contracts such as Jazz as we've announced. But what we're really now looking at as we move forward is these three emerging areas in a post-COVID world, and that's social media, home fitness, and artist monetization. And these three domains are really very exciting for us. As I say, we stopped fairly early on into COVID, realized that our pipeline was impacted, never mind the global company was affecting us. A lot of people were pausing and stopping, thinking, okay, what are we going to do here? And weren't ready to commit to a music strategy at the time. But what we thought was, hang on, we've got some opportunities to help some domains here that we are going to see some growth within. And that's these three. So we're going to move through them very quickly. So Mike, if you can go to the next slide for me. So social media, absolutely no secret that music is critical to the success of growth within social media. 9 out of 10 social media users are following music through posts. There's an enormous amount of people following social media for the purposes of music. So not only are fans using social media to express themselves and engage with their families and friends, but you're also finding artists come to social media platforms and create original content for it because they're seeing it as the most direct way of engaging with their fan base. TikTok is clearly a paradigm game changer, a paradigm shifter as far as how music and social media interact with fans. They have their issues, as I think everybody is aware. And as far as 7digital is concerned, we have a platform, a global catalog. We have the scale, we have the rights and the reporting capability to be able to serve the social media space. We announced recently our deal with Triller. Triller is an absolute on the top table of social media platforms. If some of you hadn't heard about it until we'd announced the deal, be in no doubt, these guys are at the center of social media culture and music culture now. A very significant player. I think up to something like 70 million monthly active users and growing very, very quickly. Some of the largest social media influencers are moving from TikTok to Triller. And that's obviously great for us. So I think the important thing around social media and particular our deals with social media platforms is that what we do here is by offering a global platform that they can access content through, we are able to charge an access fee, a setup fee, and then we have a monthly recurring fee that we charge the client. That's in the tens of thousands per client. And then on top of that, we have usage of content. So as people download tracks to create a post, that download comes from our platform, and they then post the video out to the social media market and to the fan base. So we're getting a kickback from Triller each time a user downloads a track to make a video post. I can't go into more details than that in terms of specifics, but there is that nice sort of blend of upfront fee, tens of thousands on the monthlies, and then we get a usage kickback based on content that's taken from our platform. And the great thing about this is that the gross profit on this is about 90%. Our product is so highly productized, our platform is so highly productized, we're operating at around about a 90% gross profit margin. And I'd like to see a couple of million of new revenue in social media next year alone, and a 90% gross profit. That's a fantastic place for us to be. And bearing in mind that, as we've already committed to the market, we're hoping to get to profitability by the end of this year. Adding that kind of gross profit for those sort of sizes of revenue increases in this one vertical alone, that's really, really, really exciting. So moving on from social to fitness, home fitness. Wow, this has just gone bananas. It's in all my 20 years operating around the music industry and media, I've never seen anything blow up so aggressively as this particular market. It's a $94 billion business globally. It is had a shot in the arm as a result of COVID. Absolutely no doubt a shot in the arm. I think what you've got to realize is that it was already growing. Peloton obviously having a lot of success. But absolutely, we have seen a huge amount of new people come to the market now as a result of COVID. Human behavior has changed. It's not a temporary change. When COVID goes back to normal, that everyone just returns to how it was. Ain't going to happen. People are going to have a different work-life balance. They're working out at home as well as working at home. And the fitness industry is really seeing that. This is great for us. Why? Because music is such an integral part of the fitness experience. It's when you're running, when you're swimming, when you're jogging, when you're whatevering, having a drumbeat of motivation with your favorite tunes, whatever it might well be, or a live class environment, music is everything. And these companies need music to make their experience as rich as possible, and as vibrant and as exciting and as engaging as possible. And we at 7digital, we have a product for this market. So not only do we have the catalog, but we've also got the rights around this catalog. Really importantly, understand that you can, if you, as Peloton were sued $150 million because they weren't using fully licensed catalog, we have that capability within our platform. We're also providing curation tools so that these fitness companies can create playlists, they can create track lists for their live classes and broadcast them to their user base. And we announced our deal last week, obviously, a couple of weeks ago now with Apex, who are a new entrant to the market, who we're really excited about, actually. It's a similar model, big setup fee, monthly recurring in the tens of thousands, and then usage based on content being streamed back from our platform. These companies are not small bootstrap startups. You know, this industry is full of really, really exciting technology companies, actually, fitness technology, and multi-billion valuation companies. And we've got some really, really interesting ones in our pipeline, as we do within social, that we're looking to be able to communicate to you soon. But very exciting space for us. I think we're going to do a lot of deals in this, more deals in this area than social media. That's what I think. And I think the value of social might be higher, but we're going to see a lot of activity in home fitness, and we're going to dominate the home fitness market and the fit tech market for music. So very exciting. And then thirdly, the third area we're really excited about is artist monetization. And I think well, we've already said this in this presentation, artists can't perform. It's such an important revenue stream for them. Lots of people can't pay their bills. There's lots of destitution stories around this. It's quite sad and tragic, actually. But this industry, you know, is in big trouble. The live industry is in trouble. We have an opportunity to help artists monetize their art again. Lots of artists don't make any money from Spotify. They don't make any money from Apple. Medium-sized, largers, a little bit. Yeah, obviously the big boys make lots, but lots of people simply don't. And we launched with eMusic, a live music streaming platform. And what we're doing is we're taking a live stream from the artist studio, from their front room, from their kitchen, could be wherever, or in a venue, and creating a virtual venue experience around it, where you can buy a ticket and the artist monetizes that ticket. They get revenue from you as a fan through that ticket purchase. But you can also do things like VIP tickets, so you can do a Q&A with the artists and your fans afterwards, or watch them backstage, or watch them do the warm-up. These are all different ways that an artist can monetize their fan base, but also having things like merchandise in there, physical merchandise. We're looking at something like digital merchandise, which is massive in China, online badges and memes that you can share with your friends and your family, and with your artists themselves, with other fans. As far as the B2B opportunity with this is also enormous. We're seeing a huge amount of interest from venues, from retailers, from companies that want to add and sprinkle a little bit of magic fairy dust around their brand, and can really see live music as a way of doing that. So this is a hugely multi-dimensional revenue opportunity for 7digital through our partnership with eMusic. So very exciting stuff. And we've got some emerging artists signed up that we've already done some performances for. And we've got some big artists as well. We've got the big EDM act that I won't name. I think it's got the 7th most viewed video on YouTube ever. Some 25 million followers. And you know, if he was to do a gig and only 100,000 of those would come, and 7D was able to take $2 or $3 a pop for every ticket, we'd be in really, really health. So a very exciting space that is solving a real problem for the industry as well.
1 more minute, Paul, 1 more minute.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay, well, I think actually, if we could go to the next slide, I think I've covered them off. And I'm sorry to rush through them, but there was a lot to cover. So I'm happy to open up to Q&A now.
Okay, wow, that was quite something. That was a tour de force, Paul.
Well, there's a lot to talk about as far as 7D, so
I thought
it's all good
there
stuff.
was no way anyone could follow Cahill, but you just did.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so 2019 was quite a tricky year, but then you come in and despite COVID, you actually turned 2020 into quite a successful year, and you seem to have settled on quite a dynamic new strategy.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. 2019 undoubtedly very challenging, undoubtedly very difficult. And I was in the business beforehand. I should be straight. I was the COO, but obviously not leading strategy. And so when I was able to take the reins, I had a very clear view about what I wanted to do and what we needed to do differently. And we worked really, really hard. And I say we because it's an absolute team effort. And you cannot underestimate the scale of the change that we've gone through within the business and the effort the team has put into doing that, and the commitment in very difficult circumstances through 2019 is absolutely was absolutely vital. Off the back of that, what we've really done is created the best possible base to kick this business on. As I've said already, we're targeting operational profitability by the end of this year. Anything we do on top next year at 90% gross profit margins with these kinds of deals.
And you definitely think you're going to achieve. You definitely think you're going to achieve profitability by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. So we're excited about that. And that'll be the first time ever in the company's history as a public company. So and that's something we've been striving for some time. So to deliver that and then add the very exciting and vibrant pipeline as we have onto our top line with very high gross profit margins, it's a great place for us to be. So extremely excited about where we're going, as well as proud of the work we've done.
Okay, the most asked question is, who is the global technology company? I have 5 names, all of whom escape me. Okay. But that's what they all want to know.
Yeah, I do follow the chat boards and just to see what the feedback looks like, and I do see that discussed quite a lot, and I cannot name who they are. We're under confidentiality agreements not to do so, but I get that's frustrating for everybody. I mean, what I could say is that to have a company of that scale choose to work with 7digital is an absolute validation of not only the work that we've done in terms of turning the business around, but also how they view our product and our technology, that they are prepared to enter into a contract with us at the scale that they're operating. That's an absolute validation of the work we've done and where we're heading. But beyond that, it's very difficult for me to say very much more. I'm sorry I can't. I hope we can in the future down the track, but the timing of that I don't know. But for now, I'm afraid you'll have to wait and see.
You would make a lot of people happy if you did.
Okay. I'm sure I would. I'd love to. I'd love to tell you all right now, but sadly I can't, I'm afraid.
Okay. Clive Bonney asks, can you be involved in the new growth in vinyl? Not quite sure what he means, but as a lover of vinyl, and indeed, yes, we're both lovers of vinyl.
Yeah.
As a digital streaming business, how can you get involved in vinyl? Oh, there you go. There's the conundrum.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question, or we should probably think about it before I gave one. But I think the vinyl revival is real, but in percentage terms of the overall global recording music industry, it's still fairly minuscule. I think fairly small. It's absolutely growing. The role of streaming, digital and analog, and how those two worlds collide. Yeah, there's been some initiatives in the industry before to try and bridge those two gaps. I think the experience of digital music consumption and the vinyl experience, I think, though, at the moment are altogether quite different.
Okay. What would your average demographic be? Would you say?
Whose average demographic? In terms of your 7digital's clients.
Yeah, 7digital's, yes.
Well, so 7digital is a streaming business, so all our clients are offering music streaming for different kind of use cases. So take the fitness example, Apex. It's around high energy pumping music being streamed, for a fitness class. Whereas you take the vinyl experience, it's much more about the sound, the warmth of the record, and looking at the artwork. Those two worlds don't necessarily collide too easily. I don't know if that answers your question or not, Clive, but it's a good one.
Yeah, okay. Which takes us to Francesco Cicero, who's asked a couple of questions. Here's one of them. What's the client user experience? Which is kind of where you were alluding to there. You were getting there. As a comparison, are you similar to Bandcamp? Are you going to support truly HD audio standards or just compressed formats? All the kind of stuff that you and I as vinyl junkies love. You know, high-end
Yeah.
HD is of interest. So
Well,
discuss.
Francesco, I'd say what I should be really clear on is as a business to
Francesco.
business, Francesco, sorry,
Yeah.
Francesco, um, as a business to business company, yeah, our job is really about helping to enable our clients focus on what they're really, really good at. And we worry about what we're really good at, and that's managing the music and managing the rights around music. So our clients typically build services on top of our technology. So if you take Apex as an example, or Triller as another, Triller are solely focused on their user experience within their social media app that they build, and they just focus on that. All the heavy lifting around ingestion of music, storage of music, sending music, rights and reporting is everything that we manage. We're really good at that. Our clients don't need to be really good at that. So, we will support any different type of usage and business model on top of our technology because we've created that flexibility within it. So, we will serve, a Bandcamp, a streaming service, a subscription, a $9.99, a classical music, a niche jazz streaming service as we are, with a high-res catalog, with compressed streaming audio. Whatever those business requirements are that our clients have, we have the flexibility in our platform to support it out of the gate, simply by enabling a turn of an access key in our API, in our application layer within our technology. So that we I was a previous chief executive and the founder, a guy called Ben Drury, once said we're a bit like Switzerland. So in that sense, it gives you a view as to how we operate. We can serve everybody and anybody depending what your music needs are.
Okay, Mitesh Sisodia, it's your moment in the sunshine. With the global catalogue of music that 7digital has, what is stopping you from creating your own differentiated streaming service alongside the other offerings that the company has as a complementary source of income? There you go.
It's a really good question, actually. Really good question, and one we have had in the past. I think the key, however, is that to offer a music streaming service, you have to, particularly subscription streaming, which I think was the thrust of your question, Mitesh, like a $9.99 or a $5.99 like service. You have to have rights in place, and you have to have those rights in place with the rights holders, and that invariably means cost. And you will have to pay for every track that is streamed on a streaming service. You pay the rights holder, you pay the label, you pay the publisher, and that can be 70%, of your revenue. So every $9.99 that somebody spends on Spotify, 70% is going out the door to the rights holders. So they're operating their business on 30%, cover all their costs, and they're not profitable, and who knows if they ever will be. So that the economics for subscription streaming aren't necessarily strong enough for us to want to go there. They work on massive scale. It works for Apple, works for Swallow. They're huge organizations. What we're more interested in is helping everybody away from that expensive rights area, the $9.99, and enabling different and new types of models. Yes, there are rights and royalties required, but our clients typically carry that and remunerate the rights holder community themselves directly. And we focus just on making sure our technology can support all of that wonderfully vibrant, dynamic music industry offerings that we're seeing emerge.
Paul, I have a lovely last question for you. Here we go, final question. You've got another couple of minutes to answer this in. So will any new contracts be announced anytime soon? Or is there any significant news flow coming? There's somebody who wants to trade you in the market.
Indeed. So the short answer is yes, there will be news coming. We've got advanced conversations with some companies in different verticals that some of which we talked about today. I can't give you the timing of that specifically, but yeah, we're close to completing on some interesting deals that we're looking forward to communicating to you all, that I'm really excited about as well. So lots to come, and not just in this year, through next year as well. There's a lot happening. This industry is moving. Consumption of music is growing. These particular verticals we talked about are enormous and growing even faster than I could imagine. And there's a lot to be excited about as far as new opportunities for 7digital across live, across social, across fitness.
Paul Langworthy, CEO of 7digital, thank you so much for joining us tonight. That was fantastic, so illuminating. Two totally different companies, but completely enthralling both.